Greetings, automotive enthusiasts. Today we have for you the most rare car in the history of Euroasian auto, and actually one of the most rare cars in the history of muscle cars as far as Ford goes. This is a 1971 Ford Torino GT Convertible, but you'll notice something sticking out of the hood here. This is not your normal 351 base model Torino. This car is a 429 Cobra Jet 4-speed manual transmission. This car is the real deal. I'm gonna go ahead and go around the car with the top up first, and then we'll drop the top down and continue to talk about the car. But this car has an incredible, very special history. This car came from a little town here in Midwest Kansas, and this car is a one-of-one car. They only built, by the Marty report, they built 7 Torino GT Convertible 429 4-speed cars, and out of those 7, this is the only one spec'd to this spec. This car has an incredible spec. I actually have talked to the owner, the original owner of the car, who actually ordered this car from the dealer. They spec this car, and we'll put a picture of the Marty report in here for you. They spec this car with all the options. It has air conditioning, it has the tachometer, has the power top with the glass back window, obviously the 429 Cobra Jet motor, the hidden hideaway headlights, like I said, air conditioning, has intermittent wipers. And a funny story about that is when they were ordering the car, they didn't even know what intermittent wipers were, but they're like, well, heck, go ahead and put them on. So very fascinating story with this car. Like I said, this car is a 2-owner car, and the history goes back, really, the car lived its entire life in the same town. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show you the top operation, and then we'll continue with the video here. All right, we're gonna put the top back. Man, is that top operation cool or what? Now just look at it here with the top down. We've got to make another pass on this car with the top down. It's just gorgeous with that red interior, red paint with that laser stripe. That was an option too. Just look at this car though. There's the back seats, belts. What's amazing, what's cool about this car though, is how nice it was originally before it was restored. It's amazing, like the condition of the car when it was in the barn. I mean, it was absolutely unbelievable. Here's a picture. I mean, it was, as you can see from the pictures, it's basically a survivor. You know, it got parked in '99. It was last on the road in '99. It's interesting, the couple that ordered this car, their daughter drove it to her graduation. So that was really kind of cool to. There's so much history and stories with this car, and I'll kind of start talking a little bit more about it here before we dig into the car. But so a gentleman named Steve and his wife Dawn, they got married right out of high school, and 4 months after they got married, he got drafted into Vietnam. And I talked to Dawn just actually a couple of days ago. It was really awesome. They our video where we show where we bought it from the second owner, the original owner and the daughter actually saw the video. Somebody told her about it, and she reached out to me, which was really nice. And And she told me the story, of her and of her dad and mother on this car. But the mother actually called me a couple days ago, and we were on the phone for an hour and a half, and that was so much fun, so enjoyable. But basically, she told me that they got married. 4 months later, he got shipped out to Vietnam, and they decided to order a Torino. And it's funny because she said there was 2 of them in town. I think she said one was blue, one was yellow or something. There was 2 different colors. So they decided they were going to order a red one because they didn't want something the same as what other people had. But the interesting thing is, so we don't even think about it today. Today we just pick up our cell phone and we make a phone call and we're just like, hey, what do you think about this or that? But they literally corresponded by mail back and forth on how to spec this car. And it's really interesting is she told her husband, when they're mailing back and forth, she's like, whatever we get, I'm getting air conditioning. Because they had a Ford 500, I think, that didn't have air conditioning before. And it made it kind of miserable to enjoy it in the summertime. So they said, we're ordering this car with air conditioning. But what's interesting is they went into the dealer. Dawn actually went into the dealer, and it was her name. And she's the one that actually ordered the car. She corresponded with her husband, Steve, but she went in there and they ordered this car with, just all these options. The 429 Cobra Jet, like I said, the AC, the tachometer, intermittent wipers, all the stuff. You'll see it on the Marty report, which shows the, all the options and everything. But it's interesting because she told the Ford dealer when she ordered it, she says, because the base price on the car was like $3,300 like that. And she says, but when she ordered it, they didn't even give her a price, which is kind of interesting. They just, I don't know why or how, but she said that they didn't give her a price. And she says, well, that's fine. And they ordered the car exactly how they wanted it. And they said, if this thing comes in over $5,000, I don't want it. And lo and behold, they called her up and told her car was in, and she went down there to pick it up, and the car was $5,300. The actual price is on the Marty report. I don't remember which the exact number was. But she said when she saw the car, she said, I don't care what it costs, I'm leaving with this car. So it did come in over $5,000, which is a lot of money in 1971. But the car went home with her, and the family enjoyed it for years and years and years. Actually, she was the primary driver of the car. And she told me a hilarious story. She said everybody would always come up and want to race her in this car. And she was like, boy, you don't know what you're getting into. And she said that there was this 396 Chevelle SS that was harassing her one day and just wouldn't leave her alone. So she said she dropped it down into second gear, ran out second gear, ran out third gear, buried the speedometer, and looked, and he was just a speck in the rearview mirror. And then she saw him just turn off. He was embarrassed. But it's just like this car. It was rated, I think, at like 375 horsepower, it's like 5,200 RPM, something like that. But the thing is that was just the horsepower rating at that RPM. What they didn't tell you was basically, this car would rev, and I'm going by what I've read on the internet. I'm no Ford expert, so don't hold anything. But what I understand, though, this thing would pull almost to 7,000 RPM and make almost 425 horsepower. It's funny, just to cheat on the insurance, they just took a reading at a lower RPM to get a lower horsepower and torque rating. So that's really fascinating that they did that. But such great stories. I'm so honored. I'm so honored to be able to talk to the original owner. And it was kind of funny, too. She told me, this car's got 62,000 miles on it, and she was adamant. She goes, it's not 162, it's not 262. She says it's 62,000 miles. I just thought that was funny. And she was telling me that, everything on this car was original. Even the carburetor, like her husband rebuilt the carburetor years ago, and he wanted to put a Holly on it, but it was like, nope, we're leaving this car completely original. And this is absolutely probably the most original, probably only surviving 429 Cobra Jet Torino GT Convertible in the world. It'd be interesting to know the whereabouts of the other 6. if they exist and what kind of condition, but the odds are that this is most likely the best example left in the world of this car. And what a car it is. So I really try to remember, like I said, we had a nice hour-and-a-half long conversation, and my memory is not that great, so I'm trying to tell you all the cool stuff that she told me about the car. And her husband, they had the car all the way up until, I think, she wasn't sure the exact date. She thought maybe that the second owner bought the car maybe in 17 or 18, somewhere in that time frame. And her husband was still alive when they sold the car to a friend of theirs, Bill, who you met in the first video, and sold the car to him. And then they're the ones that took and restored the car. So it's just an amazing story of an amazing machine. So let's go ahead and zoom in here. And I mean, this car, it's had less than 100 miles since restoration. So, I mean, this car is basically like it rolled off the assembly line, but we'll go and show you the car. I cleaned the car up a little bit, just washed it. It really, you saw it actually as it came out of the trailer. I mean, it was amazing. It just looked phenomenal as it came out of the trailer. But you know, it's an old car. It's not, I mean, it's as close to perfect as you're probably gonna find, but as I was washing it, I noticed a couple little minor things. Like I noticed one little paint needs touched up there, but that's just a simple little touch up. But the bumpers are perfect. This hidden headlights are phenomenal. And you know, even that original GT hidden headlight grille is super duper cool, but it is pretty much perfect. They spent on this car, they told me they spent $180,000 on the restoration of this car. That is phenomenal. One little bitty spot that I did notice was right here. Just needs a little touch up. There you go, you can kind of see it right there. Come on, phone. There you go. One little bitty, there, my finger kind of helps. Just need a little touch up right there. But unbelievable machine. Looking again across the grill. Kind of pull back here. The quality, when you just look down the side of this car, it is absolutely as laser straight as those laser stripes. It is phenomenal. You look across the hood, the gaps, everything on this car. We come back around, I'll pop the hood here and show you this beast underneath. But this car is phenomenal. You can kind of see here, looking on the fenders. I'm assuming obviously they probably put a new windshield in it. Here's the VIN number. And here's your windshield. I'm assuming they put a new one in there because it's perfect. Yeah, there's no way that would be the original windshield, obviously. Here is the shaker hood, Cobra Jet. Take a look at that. How cool is that? Real shaker ram air, the real deal. Here's our marker lights. It's cool. The phone doesn't pick it up as much, but those laser stripes are actually reflective. And you can kind of see, I got an idea here. Let me turn my phone light on. All right, now I got the light on here. Now you can see that metallic in there. There, you can kind of see that now. That is, see that reflective? It's kind of like what you'd see on a school bus, something like that. Super cool. And then here are our wheels. They are perfect. You'll see from the video where they found the car. When they bought the car, they did like what a lot of people did. They put some Nicky Thompsons on the car and some different tires, but they sourced some the original style wheels to put back on the car. Obviously, absolutely love the GT call out. Look at this thing, and look how it's raised. Is that cool or what? And we really, I mean, we just kind of sprayed the car off. Haven't really done a serious detail on the car. Just wanted to kind of really, get a chance to get it and show you guys. And underneath the car is like it rolled off the showroom. I'll stick my phone under there after we do the walk around and kind of show you, but there is nothing to note underneath the car. It wasn't rusty when they restored it. There's the wheels, obviously brand new tires. See that? Quarter panels. I mean, there's nothing. And the interesting thing right here, Dawn, she told me that they actually added this Cobra emblem right here. She said that that actually wasn't on the car, but they wanted everybody to know what they had. And I think it's super cool when they restored the car that they put that back on there, because that was just a little touch that they added, and really sets the car off. I mean, it looks like it should be there. It looks factory, and I just think that is super duper cool. But I thought it was factory, honestly. But she said that they actually added that on. There's across the deck lid. And it is basically perfect. No issues on the deck lid. I mean, there's just really no issues anywhere. Here, I'm gonna show you the tail lights. Going across the back here. I love that egg crate looking, I don't know what you call that actually, but that louvered looking tail light looks super cool. One thing I did notice is there's a tiny little crack right here. So there is a little crack in that lens. So I always point out everything I find. Bumpers are perfect. Absolutely. And I love the vintage tag. I'm going to actually send that back to the other owner. He requested that back, so we'll be sending that back. And then here in a little bit, I will be driving this car for the first time. Look, it's still got the, I'll show you over here. Still has the factory Ford stickers on the tailpipes. And there's your valance panel, and it's perfect. But yeah, I have not even driven this car since I got it. It's so rare. Haggerty actually was kind of struggling to come up with values on the car, you know, and I insured it for an agreed value, which I have 10 cars insured on Haggerty. And so I submitted this car with an agreed value, and they come back and they're like, well, we don't even show a 429 convertible car, and none of the books show this car. It's so rare that it's never really even been put in the books. I also called my rep at Barrett Jackson, and they can't find any comps on this car themselves. We're kind of, you know, debating on which way to go with this car, whether we're gonna put it out for sale, put it up for auction. We don't really know exactly what we're gonna do with it yet, but I'm just bringing it to you folks right now. But yeah, then Barrett Jackson got with their Ford people and come back and said, yes, that is definitely a real deal. That is a very, very special car, and we want it in our auction. So if that happens, we'll obviously put notes into the description, and we'll let you know what happens with this car. Again, wheels are perfect. The car is just laser straight. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. Mirrors. Here's our GT. That is just the coolest thing I've ever seen. I would love nothing more than to actually just keep this car, to be real honest with you. But unfortunately, I'm just a small guy here, and we're not a big business, and the wife and I, and this is one that's a little too expensive for us to hold on to. So, kind of see here, laser stripes. There's our markers, perfect. There's just really nothing to. I mean, I showed you that one little, one little touch up there, and that one little touch up there, and that's about it. Well, I'm gonna take both hands here to open this hood up, and we'll show you under the hood. All right, we got the hood open. Check out this massive engine. That had to be a tricky fit to get this motor shoehorned in this car. I wouldn't want to change the plugs. Actually, Dawn told me that when they would change the plugs on this car, that she had to be the one to change plugs because her husband Steve couldn't reach his hand back there to get the back plug, which is a fascinating story. There's the emblems. And like I said, original carburetor. Everything is original. They updated it to HEI ignition, you know, electronic ignition instead of points. And that's pretty much the only thing that is not. Actually, I'm gonna look over here on the fender well. She told me that they had some sort of governor from the factory and then when they got it, it was just a pigtail hanging there right here. Or where is it? She told me that it wasn't even hooked up from the factory, that whenever they built the car, that they left the governor unhooked. That was a fascinating story. She also told me too that they found a beer can in the car when the car was built from the factory. Somebody hid a beer can in the car. So just crazy stories of, you know, days gone by. But so I didn't even spray underneath the hood of this car. It's a little bit dusty. I really didn't want to wash or get anything wet under here. So it's a little bit of dust underneath the here, but you can get an idea here. Obviously put all the reproduction stickers on. You can kind of see everything here. It is like it left the factory. Super cool. And then the second owner of the car told me too, one fascinating story was that they actually had to pay $1,000 for a used fuel pump housing for this car because they needed the Carter fuel pump with like an X on it, so it's the right, correct. I think the fuel pump wasn't correct, so they got very picky on the details on the restoration. So there it is. I'm gonna go ahead and fire this up for you and let you hear how it sounds. And there you have it. You just hit the key and this thing just jumps to life. Absolutely sounds perfect. Let you walk around the back here. Listen to that. In stereo. Love that big block low. Sounds fantastic. All right, we'll close the hood and I'll give you a tour of the interior. All right, let's check out the interior here. Check this out. When you open this door, look how tight that is. I mean, it just doesn't rattle or nothing. So here is the interior door panels. Perfect. Hold on a second. And coming in here, obviously the carpets are new. Check out your pedals. Incredible. There's all our switch gear. Check out this tachometer. This is so cool. 8,000 RPM tach. There's our speedometer. There's our mileage. Like I said, I've not driven this car, but I'm fixing to drive it. 62,583. There's our climate control with air conditioning. And actually, it took me a while. This is the top switch. I could not figure out how to power the top. And I saw that, because look, the fan speed switch over there is the same looking switch. But anyway, I was like, where is the top switch? It was hiding in plain sight. The seats obviously perfect. Center console. And that is the factory Hurst shifter. Dawn actually was like, when she got the car in, she was like, oh man, she was so thrilled that it had a cool Hurst shifter. You know, she didn't expect that, she said. And then one thing she says she regrets, she wished she had ordered an FM8 track. She said, I didn't even think about the radio. And it's kind of a funny story there. Dash is perfect. Visors are perfect. Chrome trim, stainless is all nice. Here's our back seats. We have manual windows on this car. I'm not sure if power was an option or not. But there's all our belts are all still intact. Back seat is perfect. Go ahead and come around. Here's our threshold. Super nice. Go around the other side. And you see, obviously, the top's brand new. And there's the headliner. Looks perfect. Cooler little details back here. These cars sure did have style. And we also have the parade boot cover too. It's in the trunk. I forgot. I should have put that on for the video, darn it. Oh well, I'll show it to you. Backs of the seats. Go ahead and open this door. All right. There's that door there. And obviously seats are perfect. Very cool. Show you the threshold molding. Very nice. Look at that, just shine like it's brand new. Be honest with you, this car is probably nicer than it was from the factory on the paint. There's our glove box. Dawn said that unfortunately, the mice did eat the original owner's manual. So that was one casualty of the barn, unfortunately. And here's our center console. Got a little button right there. There's our center console. Another view of our Hurst shifter. Super duper cool. And the steering wheel, and that was an option too, I believe. Kind of cool on the steering wheel. All right, we'll go ahead and pop the trunk for you. Let you check out the trunk. All right, I got the trunk popped. I really haven't done much in the trunk. There, there's still a few little microfiber rags in here from, I guess I can go ahead and take those out. And it's interesting too is the gas tank is the trunk floor. And she was telling me, see, look, there's the gas tank right there, and it's actually the trunk floor. She said you had to be careful when you set stuff in the trunk because you can puncture it. And then here's the top cover, brand new. And there's our spare wheel. And you can see the quarter panels. Look at that, unbelievable. Car's never been hit. She said one time she bumped a deer and cracked the right front grille. Here we got, now this is some kind of data tag here, and it's actually factory sealed by Ford, so I haven't opened that. And there's the title, and here is all of the sheets here, and I may take those out. Those are all the sheets that they pulled out throughout the car. I might take those out and kind of show you, take pictures of those and show you. And you can also go to the website and see detailed stuff on that. They took it to one car show and it won first place. Imagine that. What a car. I'll go ahead and show you a little quick peek underneath the car, and then we will take it for a drive. Okay, here's just a little quick underbody view. I got some plastic panels in the way, but just giving a quick general overview of underneath the car. All right, we are sitting in the car. Got my wingman David with him. Say hi, David. Hello. He's gonna be our cameraman today. So here we go. Go ahead and fire this guy up. Woo! What do you think of that, David? Does that sound?
Sounds insane.
It's amazing. Temperature's a little cold, so we're gonna let it. We're gonna be a little bit easy on it. We're gonna be easy on it, period. But we started a few times, but it's basically cold, so we're rolling out. This is my first ever drive in this car. All I did was pull it in and out of its parking stall here, so this is it. This is it. Woo! I feel a little like I'm excited and nervous at the same time, David. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel it.
We're out, and it's a 70-degree day. Oh my gosh.
Couldn't be better.
Oh, I love this car. I love this car. Holy cow. Woo! Oh, the brakes are nice. Power steering. I mean, this car has just got everything. I think I'll go ahead just for auto quality. I'm going to put the side windows up. Go ahead and put your side window up there, David. Just for a little, right down there, the manual. Yep, just go ahead and put her up there so we don't try to not get too much wind noise. All right, I'm paying attention here. Here we go. Man, it's easy to drive.
Yeah.
It's super easy. Yeah, you pulled it in and out of its spot yesterday when you washed it off. Listen how smooth that is. Just purrs. Man, I just want to like go to California right now. Let's go, right?
Perfect car.
Heck with everything, right?
Yeah.
Top down, let's go. Let's go. Got our AM radio. A little classic country going on the radio. Here we go. Woo! I feel like I'm in the presence of greatness with this car, you know? I mean, this is a Ford Great. Oh my gosh. And it's weird. I think it runs probably better than it did new. You know, I mean, when you pump the gas one time, hit the key, it fires right up. You don't even touch the throttle. It just drops down into a perfect idle. So, I mean, you know, usually I tell you stuff on the car, but this car down to the brake pads was completely restored. So, I mean, there's really not much to talk about as far as the issues drivability wise. Oh, that shifter, holy cow. My second car, David, was a 69 Roadrunner, 383 4-speed. So my second car was a muscle car.
Yeah.
So, and I was born in 69. So the cars of this era, they definitely call to me, you know, like the original owners, you know, it was the cars of their childhood, which is really cool. But this was the cars of my birth. And then, as they got to be used cars, you know, I looked at them as just really cool cars. We're gonna give everybody a wide berth on this thing. Listen to that, though. We're gonna let her warm up, but I will give it some beans. But we're gonna make sure she is definitely full temperature before I do. Oh, it rides fantastic, David. There's our bump. Oh my gosh. This is unbelievable. I'm breathtaking. Wow. It's not even windy. David, do you just want to keep going?
This thing is amazing.
It's amazing. Unreal. Wow. I'm blown away. I'm speechless. I am blown away. I just can't believe how I expected it to be a little more clunky or more truck-like. I mean, it's really smooth. The view out of that hood, that shaker hood, this is a special car. My goodness. Wow. The shifting is so nice. The linkage. Give it a little bit of gas. Listen to that. Oh, just a nice rumble. Wow. That was actually third gear. I thought I was in first, but I was actually third gear, and it just pulled like it was nothing. This car needs driven, honestly. There we go. Woohoo! She's opening up now. Warming up. Wow. I'm unbelievable. Unbelievable. Woo! This is rare air right here. That clutch is long, isn't it? It's a long, heavy. The clutch does feel like a truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's long and fairly heavy. It's not super heavy, but it ain't no Honda.
Feels like a cable.
Yeah, oh yeah, it is. I'm sure it is a cable. Just idling perfect. Unreal. Oh, I love this car. Oh my goodness. Wow. Let everybody go before I go. So much torque when you let off the gas, it actually chirps the tires when I come off throttle because there's so much engine braking that it's actually chirping the tires off throttle. Unbelievable. Well, folks, I hope you enjoy this car. I know I do. I've been looking forward to driving this car since I got it. I've been so nervous and excited at the same time, but man, I am loving it, loving it, loving it. Oh, maybe go buy a lottery ticket and get lucky where I can actually keep my own car. I would love to hold onto this car. What a car. What a car. Well, hey everybody, I appreciate you riding along. I hope you enjoyed the overview of this car, and I hope you enjoyed the story of the car. I hope I told the car, story and did it some justice. I, always want to try to document the car and tell the story to my best of my memory. But look us up, EuroasianAuto.com, Euroasian on Facebook, and hit like and subscribe if you would. That way, when we get a new car in, you'll be the first to be notified, because you never know when we might have your next dream car. Have a great day. Happy motoring.